Hi, this is Arianne.
Hi, I'm Chris. Sorry you never met me before.
So Chris is my better half,
Lies. Completely lies.
and today I want to talk about
Getting on the same page with your spouse. I like how she just looked at me expecting me to finish that sentence for her without going over this ahead of time. So if this is really awkward and unscripted, that's because it is. I apologize in advance.
yeah. If it's your first time to our channel, we talk about money, real estate investing, and
It's the pursuit of financial freedom. It's pretty much all about money in various aspects.
yeah, and really it's so people can have time freedom so that they can do what they want.
Right. Like, enjoy this pretty place.
So
So, what are we going to talk about? Well, since we're already not on the same page, let's talk about that. One of the things that we find really helps us as a couple when we're doing all sorts of crazy things, any of you who know us personally understand that we have a lot of irons in the fire. We do a whole bunch of random stuff, and it can be kind of overwhelming sometimes with all the craziness going on. One of the things that we have to do is we have to force ourselves to make time for each other to make sure that we stay connected despite all of the chaos that's going on, especially, with everything going on in 2020. It's a great year. So one of those things that we're doing right now is we're taking a little retreat. We are out in Sedona. It's a beautiful place. Taking some hiking trails, climbing up some mountains. She's conquering her fear of heights. It's been great. But that allows us to actually spend time talking to each other and remembering that, we're connected. We are one human, pretty much.
yeah, and I think just putting it into perspective, right? Like the pursuit of wealth, better finances, and managing our money better is really at the end of the day so that we can have a better life and have a better relationship. And I know it can be really difficult when you're like busy, right? Like you're busy starting a business or furthering your career or trying to figure out how you're gonna do, this like investing thing. But I think it's also really important to remember why you're doing this to begin with and to have these spaced out retreats where you can have time to reconnect with your spouse, your family members, your significant other, and to enjoy life in between those times of like pushing a boulder up a hill.
Right. It's a lot of people call it the rest run cycle, right? There's times when we have to hunker down and just grind, and our goal is to make those short and productive so that you can actually enjoy the fruits of your labor, right? You're working on this for something. You don't want to keep grinding it. Like one of the people we listened to talked about runners, and it'd be like a lot of people will run straight through the finish line and then just keep running, like they didn't know they made it to where they were trying to go. I think it's important to stop and look back, reflect on how far you've come, what you've accomplished, where you are compared to where you thought you'd be. I know that we far surpassed our expectations when we started, and to actually take time to enjoy what you've worked so hard for. Otherwise, you're working for the sake of working. I mean, it's nice when you're working on something fulfilling, but not everything we do is that fulfilling.
Right. And the pursuit of financial freedom and wealth doesn't mean that you just keep not spending money, right? Like you have to actually enjoy yourselves every now and then. Otherwise, you're going to get to a point where you're working so hard that you forget why you're doing it. And that's actually when it's kind of dangerous, right? Because you almost lose the goal, you lose a little bit of yourself, and you kind of just get too much into the grind.
It's demoralizing. Like you
Yeah.
lose the motivation, which is what got you there in the first place.
Right.
So it's like you kind of self-destruct and implode if you don't actually pause for a moment.
Right. And so, and it doesn't have to be like this big trip like this, right? Like it can just be
Date night.
Right.
Like date night we have date night every single week. We have to have date night every single week or we get out of sync.
Or we could just go to the beach. We live near the beach. You could go out on a hike, right? It doesn't have to be a big extravagant thing. So if you're
Go to a park. There's lots of parks. Most cities have like a relatively nice park.
Yeah. So if you're not in a place where you can do that yet, that's fine. You can find all different sorts of ways to connect with your spouse, connect with your loved ones, your family, your kids, right? so that you can continue going.
Yeah, it's useful to reset because it helps you regain that motivation again, right? Every time your motivation wanes, if you have a moment like this to remember why you're doing something, you can restoke that fire, keep it going without burning out.
Right. And it's also really useful to do something you've never, something new, right? Like the last few days we went on a lot of hikes and they were really scary for me.
It is really cute for me watching her.
And Chris was just there, like holding my hand up and down the really scary mountains. And they were scary. He's laughing, but they really were. We'll put some pictures and videos up here so you can see that it was scary.
They were great hikes. It was good.
It was very pretty though, right? Like
there
was
the hike was worth it, right?
Yeah, the hike was worth it. There was one yesterday that we went up. We got lost a few times. And I didn't know if I was gonna make it.
Wow.
But I think it's times like those where you're like, you know what? This is what's important. I have a great honey, and if this is the last day, it's
At
been
least
a
we
great.
spent it together.
It's been a great time.
I like it.
Anyway, I think that's it. That's what. You have anything else to add?
I don't know. I think the main point here is that we're not the kind of people who will tell you to give up everything you love, to save a buck or two. It's give up everything that's not important to you so that you can put that money to better use. I would rather come here once a year and enjoy a really nice trip than go out to fast food every day. Like, that's just not worth it to me. For some people it might be, right? It's just you got to figure out what's important to you and only spend money on the things that are actually important to you. We believe financial freedom isn't living like a hermit. We believe that you can afford anything. You just have to do the numbers to figure out how.
Right. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, guys.
Nice meeting you.
Have a great day. Okay, we're going to talk about hand cuddles.
Hand cuddles, huh?
These are called hand cuddles. So if you don't know what they're called, now you know.
This is not holding hands. These are hand cuddles.
Hand cuddles. Very good for the winter.